In the shadows of the mind where secrets hide, we dive into the dark where truth collides. Forensic minds unravel the twisted thread. True crime tales from the living and the dead. Why did they do it? To help, for love, in anger, or insane? Who will remember them? Who is to blame? The victims deserve justice. The guilty should be until the end of time. Echoes of the past in every crime.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Yes, I am doing great. Some people are, the regular song. All right, we'll play it because I've got one more thing I need to do. So, Rainbow Horizons. I'll be right back.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. Goes like a front porch, swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compare to the peace we found in the tides we ride and the love all around. No rainbow horizons after the rain, diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love for God and country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons forever free. Yeah, rainbow horizons calling me.
Okay, now we're ready to get started. How are you guys doing? It's so great to see you. Look at Lady of Angels coming here, all rainbows and sunshine. That's what I like. Hey, Vicky's good morning to you. My birds love that song. I can play all my other songs or any, other songs on my computer, and they're really chill, but there's something about the beat or something about that Rainbow Horizon song. They just get so excited. So they're a little loud right now, but I think they're going to calm down. I hope everybody is doing great this morning on this fine Friday morning. And I don't know, do you have anything fun planned this weekend? I myself, well, I'm going to be preparing for a gender reveal. That's right. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go and get some pumpkins and some rose gold paint and some pearl paint and maybe some velvet ribbon. And I am going to make little pumpkins. Does that sound like a fun thing to do on Friday? I think it is. All right, now then, before I do all that, which is normal living, isn't it? There are things that people do when they're normal, when they're in balance, when life is good, right? What are some of those things we do? We go buy groceries. When we're in the grocery store, we make sure we buy healthy things and we pick up a little snack or two that is categorically in the unhealthy column. We go for walks. We watch movies, right? That's what we do. Those are normal things. If we see a little kid crying in the grocery store, we stop and say, "Oh, little child, I'm sorry you're crying. Are you frightened? Have you lost your mother?" Right? That's what you do. You see a little kid crying, hurt, upset. You stop to, get them grounded and say, "Oh, she's here. It's okay. I'm taller than you. I can see further than you. What does your mom look like?" Correct? That's what we do. We help little children. I mean, let's think about this situation. If you're taking your nice, healthy grocery haul back out to the car, and as you're pushing your buggy along, headed toward your car, and you see a little kid fall, hit their head, bust their lip open, who stops to laugh? Anybody? Anybody laughing? I'm not going to laugh. Are you going to laugh? Well, I think if your answer is no, I would definitely stop to laugh, then you have exactly zero foundation to sit in judgment of me. I'm going to be the lady that is horrified that the child has hurt themselves. And I'm going to leave my basket wherever it may be, and I'm going to run to that child and its mom or dad or whoever's with it. And I'm going to say, "Oh my God, can I help? Are you okay? Here, I have some like some antiseptic wipes in my car. Oh my gosh, look, he's bleeding a little bit. There's a minor emergency clinic right around the corner down there. Let me drive you." I probably would be so dense that I'd be like, load up in the car. I'll be the ambulance. Okay. The point is, we help, don't we? That is in our nature. When we're healthy people, we want to help when we see someone upset. Correct? I am no different. That is my essence, is to help. I'll without awareness put myself into a dangerous situation if it appears to me that there's somebody that needs some help. Okay. And you would do exactly the same. I'm not saying I'm better, different. We are the same. What I am actually pointing out is, what of those who would stand and laugh? That's who the topic is. Not the topic is not me and you, the people that will stop and help and render aid or feel sad that this, child has hurt themselves or embarrassed themselves. That's the normal thing to do. This conversation is about those who would laugh. And you say, oh my God, people wouldn't do that. Oh, are you sure? Now, I had this amazing college professor when I was in my PhD program. This particular class was a abnormal psychology class. And that was combined with, some of our advanced testing and assessment methods. And so we were having this conversation about diagnoses, right? That you get called in to do an evaluation on someone in the jail, right? Someone's been arrested. They're going to trial. They need the court's asking for a full-blown psychological evaluation of this person. And you find yourself in the most unusual, uncomfortable environment. Of all the places I've ever worked, the jails are the worst for me. A lot of people will say, no, the worst are the hospitals. Not for me. I don't know why, but for me, it's the jails. There's such a palpable sensation of exploitation there. Like you're surrounded by people that have harmed another, right? And that you don't run across that kind of environment very often, where it's a concentrated group of people that have hurt someone else. So it's a feeling that I was never able to shake. I mean, I got through that practicum. I did everything I was supposed to do, but I never acclimated to it. I had friends that did. I had friends that even struck up friendships with some of the inmates and such. I just never acclimated. It was bad, terrible, awful feeling. So my professor, who was great, amazing, my professor, we were all talking about assessment and with specifics to forensic criminal activity and whatnot. And I had been called to do a assessment on somebody that had been kind of back and forth between the prison, the jail, related to like court proceedings and stuff. And it was such a crazy experience because, when you do the test, you're methodical. Like you even have a manual that says, read these words. And the reason that it's like that is because whether someone is tested in California or Maryland or North Carolina, You want that assessment to be as standard and exact among all these place settings, so that your numbers, so that your analysis is most accurate, most true. You're reducing error, environmental error, testing error, all kinds of stuff. So, when I, doing the test, the instrument, it's very methodical and robotic, and you don't change what you're saying and what you're doing. You just do it and record the responses and then move on. But in between that, and with some of the projective testing processes, I found myself saying, this guy has been railroaded. This guy didn't do this. I can't see this person doing this. And then I would question him, and he had this story to tell. And I was like, yeah, I think he's telling the truth. And then my great professor said, but what does the testing show you, the instruments that you've used, compared to what you're feeling in your heart, like internal projection, right? And I said, oh, well, he's a liar, right? We have those tests for malingering. So yeah, he's a liar. His MMPI, he is a not a good guy. He's a bad guy all the way around. Cheated on one of the tests. So there was also some neurological disruption, and so what was recorded with instruments was different than the visceral experience that I was having. And he said to me, this is an important day in your life. And he said, the reason that this is such an important day, and you should remember it always, he said, because you have been face to face with a psychopath. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? You have been face to face with a psychopath. Psychopath can take an orange and show that to you and tell you that orange is purple. And then 20 minutes later, you will be calling that orange a grape. And he said, never forget that when you have documented knowledge, a fact sitting in front of you that you can hang your coat on, a fact, and yet your feelings are telling you something different, you are being manipulated by a psychopath. Now, there's a lot of psychologists in 2025 that have abandoned testing. It's expensive. It's timely. The reports are awful, right? You spend hours and hours typing up these books, basically. So for me, in a particular situation, I'm always going to do the full battery of tests. If there's a crime involved, there's going to be a full battery of tests because of that one day and the lesson of the orange and the grape, right? So I want to take a minute and go through, in fact, I can share this with you. Hold on. Well, first, let me say this. All right. So we know who this dude is, right? Holly S., welcome. Why are all these adults all of a sudden saying they have ODD? I thought that was for pediatrics. And then the adult version of that is if you know, you know. Yeah, no, look, I think people do that, and I don't really see anything wrong with it. Even we did it. Um, the PhD students, when we were taking our abnormal psychology courses, we had a great time. We had lots of fun diagnosing each other. We had a really tremendous amount of time diagnosing our moms. Okay. And the great Jordan Peterson of Harvard, um, he did something that was, remains one of the most often played videos in advanced psychology courses anywhere. And that is, he did an entire series when he was teaching at Harvard. He took all of the Disney princesses and they all got a diagnosis, a personality disorder diagnosis. And it's amusing, right? He was an entertaining guy before he got sick, but it was very amusing, but it was so accurate, and that was what opened everybody's eyes. Be very careful about running around diagnosing people, because the truth is, you're with personality disorders. And I know you're asking about oppositional defiant disorder, but stay with me here. With personality disorders, we're describing and aggregating personality factors, right? And so at first, those personality factors are just descriptive of the person. They're not pathological. But eventually, either through numbers of factors or the intensity of the factor, then it becomes not personality factors, becomes pathological, where now it is a personality disorder. That the person's personality factors are so incongruent to society, to the norm, that it makes other people uncomfortable, that it begins to get that person in trouble with their jobs or with their family members and friends or with law, right? So that's why it is easy in a rudimentary way. That's why it's easy to take a list of characteristics and basically think you're diagnosing someone. You're not. There's a line there. There have to be recorded behaviors, acknowledged behaviors that take it from just a basic 5-factor model of personality or 16 PF or whatever you're using. You have to go from, this is just a description of the person's personality factors, into, okay, now we've crossed the line and now it's a pathology. Now this person's personality factors are either so many or to such an extreme that it's now a clinical problem. They're not doing well. They're creating enormous events that are really, really destructive. Okay. So you have to be really careful about that. But I want to take a minute and look at this guy. We all know who it is, Chris Watts, right? And there was this guy, this crazy monster right here. This was the reason that I even have a channel on YouTube. Had it not been for this nut right here, I probably would never, ever, ever, ever have gotten on this whole YouTube thing. I watched YouTube, but I never had any desire at all to be heard on YouTube, right? And then he did what he did to his babies and his wife. But we had seen a lot of horrible people. We had Jodi Arias, Ted Bundy. There's a lot of bad people out there, right? And I never felt like I needed to jump online and make a YouTube channel. So what caused me to make a YouTube channel? It was the king of the Nutgate. That's exactly right. This dude, this one right here. This was my motivation to go online. Do you know why? Because I had something to say. I wanted to be heard, and here was what my message was. Are you guys crazy? You are victim blaming and victim shaming a mother who was murdered. That was my motivation. Everybody was happy to acknowledge that he did it. But there was this large group of people who hated Shanann Rushek. Like they were going live nightly and tearing this woman down. And I was just like, the quiet hand in the back that slowly rises in the classroom, right? Excuse me. Hello, can I ask a question? Isn't she dead? Is she the victim? Her babies are dead. They're the victims. Am I confused? That's how bad it was. Okay. That was what got me here. And you said to yourself, oh, yuck. How could somebody know what this guy did? He literally put his boot on the top of the head of his baby daughter so that he could shove her down into an 8-inch opening into an oil tank. Let that sink in. I think any man who puts their boot on the head of a loved one is categorically not normal. What do you guys think? If you think that that is not normal, put a 1. If you think it's just, Sunday afternoon at the old home site, put a 2. Yeah, vilifying the victim. There's a reason for that, seclusion marks. Yep. So what was going on in the case of Chris Watts? Why did everybody say, Shanann's the demon? She did it all. She was horrible. Have you listened to her videos trying to sell Thrive? She's so horrible. Her little children were abused. Oh, shut up. Her little children were delightful. And they were a regular all-American family, right? They were living in the burbs. They had them a pretty house. They were working regular 20th century jobs. She was a gig worker, right? How many people are gig workers right now? They're not getting up at 5 a.m, driving into work, clocking in at 8 o'clock, leaving at 5. People, very few. There's a low number of people in our population today that live that type of what was previously the standard lifestyle. Now we're doing gig work. We've got people that get paid for playing video games all night. We've got people that are making their own video games and they're selling those video games. There's people over on Fiverr that will write your YouTube scripts for you if you can't write or think of anything interesting to say. We're a gig worker society now, right? That's all Shanann was doing. Yeah, it's the MLM thing. People recognize what MLMs are. We know that it's basically a Ponzi scheme. But what of extortion? You know what extortion is? Let me give you an example of extortion. It's also illegal. You will cease and desist talking about me, and I'm not going to sue you if you'll pay me $500. So you got your choice. Pay me $500 and I will not drag you through the courts, or quit talking about me and I will drag you through the courts. Extortion. You committed extortion, and then you told your channel that your attorney did it. Bullshit. You know what else? Your attorney would have known that North Carolina was not the proper jurisdiction to file your restraining order. All right. So this guy, Chris Watts, the victim blaming, the victim shaming of his wife. Why did that happen? What happened there? How did things go so wrong? Look at him. He looks good. He's a hottie. He's so fun, right? He looks like a nice, clean-cut, all-American guy and a hard worker. Am I right? So a lot of women looked at him and said, oh, he's got some kind eyes. Didn't hurt nobody. Look how sweet he is. His wife must be a bitch. Okay, that is what happened. People projected onto him a personality that didn't exist. Let me remind you of this little nugget. He looked at pictures of his daughters. He looked at a picture of the location where he put his boot on the head of his baby and shoved her down into an oil tank. And then when the cops left to go tell, or when the detectives left to go tell the cops where to find the bodies, he ate a piece of pizza. Is that normal? What do you guys think? Is that normal? I don't know about you, but I think if I had been exposed to something like that, I wouldn't have been eating anything for a month. I think I would have been vomiting every time I thought about it. In fact, there were detectives and police officers that never went back to work again after they sat out there for 24 hours trying to retrieve the bodies of those babies. They were so mortified and horrified by the actions of this monster that they completely stopped being cops at all. That some of those detectives have talked openly about their level of PTSD. That even today, years later, they're battling those signs and those symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder from what this son of a bitch did right here. And we have people on the internet who said Shanann was just unpleasant. She was just an unpleasant woman, and you can't blame him. He did the best he could, bless his heart. Think about that. What leads us as people to blindly look away from important, instructive facts? All right. Now, I have a reason for talking about this. I know y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. All right. So we're going to take a minute here. Y'all keep Chris Watts in your head. Not Chris Watts specifically, but those people, not those people even. The situation that people blamed the victim instead of blaming Chris Watts for his own behavior. That's what I want you to focus on. give me 1 second. Hold on, please.
In the shadows of the mind where secrets hide, we dive into the dark where truth collides.
Forensic minds unravel the twisted thread. True crime tales from the living and the dead.
Why did they do it? To help, for love, in anger or insane? Who will remember them? Who is to blame? The victims deserve justice. The guilty should be until the end of time. Echoes of the past in every crime.
All right. Sorry about that. You could probably hear that I was having a shouting match with my birds, and I apologize for that. They are now in their sunroom where they can sing as loud as they want, and I'm not going to be screaming over them. So I apologize. I'm sure that was quite an unpleasant sound. Okay. All right. Now then. So the reason to bring up Chris Watts is not about the nightmare he created. It's about those people that were confused, right? Those people that looked at him and they saw this very handsome guy, nice house in the burbs, kind eyes, and they blamed the crime on the wife because the wife was unpleasant, because she spent all of his money, because she told him what to do. They kind of projected their own experiences onto that domestic situation and completely disregarded the facts that this man murdered children. They just ignored that. They just thought about what was important to them. I'm going to be good to my man. Okay, we should be good to our men. They should be good to us. That's the goal. But the game changes when you put your boot on the head of your child and push them into an oil tank, period. And there were a lot of people that really, really sided with Chris Watts. And it's so crazy, right? It was just so hard to wrap your head around, but they were there. It was terrible. Now, we're seeing the same dynamic right now. This situation that is happening with Brittany J is nothing like I don't really know what happened with Lauren Matthias, but these people that she was dealing with, they were extorting her. They were saying, we have the text messages, we've gathered them all together from a lot of people, and we're going to go to the networks. We're going to go to Long Crime. We're going to make it so you never work again. Okay, that was extortion, right? That was a crime that was being committed against her. That is not what is happening with Brittany J. Not by a long shot. In fact, it is Brittany who created a vehicle for extortion with her C&Ds. So I want to look at this list. We don't diagnose someone as a psychopath, right? We can diagnose antisocial personality disorder, and then you can do testing to measure levels of psychopathy, but that is not a diagnosis, okay? But the point of lists is just simply recognition, to learn, to get knowledge and learn a certain pattern that may or may not be dangerous. And so when we think about people like Chris Watts, or someone that would happily, drag you through the court system, or here's my point, here it is right here, this is the point that I want to make today. A small child is brutalized, victimized by an adult. It goes through the court system because the mother acted to protect her child. So it's in the courts, right? There's documentation. The guy goes to prison for a long time. Okay? Those documents are sealed by the court. We're not going to talk about this because it's a minor child. And the criminal act was so severe that the perpetrator, the criminal, the asshole, the monster gets sent away for like nearly 2 decades, okay? It's a nightmare. The court orders the documents sealed. Everybody understand that? They're sealed. You can't access them. You can't look the name up. Right? Now, fast forward about, 12, 15 years. Some dumbass, some unprincipled, heartless, ruthless, foolish woman says, oh, look at here. Look what we got here, folks. I don't like that creator over there. I just don't like her at all, in fact. And we better look into her background. We better see what's out. Oh, look at there. She'd been divorced. What was her husband's name? Well, we better look him up too, even though it's been 10, 15 years ago. Let's look him up. Oh, he's gone to jail for a long time. What did he do? Oh my God. He's a child molester, for God's sake. What a horrible man. But we don't even know the man. The person we hate that YouTube creator. But this could be some good ammunition, couldn't it? Whoo, howdy. Oh, yeah, we could hurt her bad with this. You get my point? Now, that was Smiley's story world, in case you didn't know. Then comes part of the pack, Brittany J. And Brittany J says, oh, this is some juicy, juicy ammunition. Good gracious. I wonder what we could learn about this. I wonder how we could get some more information about what that man did. And through bits and pieces and little accidental steps, right? They were able to put the story together. They were able to match up. The documents are sealed. Please keep that in your mind, y'all. The documents are sealed. But these people that wanted to go after the Illuminati, they put it together. it was an accidental discovery that was made because they were going, like, they were looking for content to talk about Sebastian Rogers, Christopher Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, right? So they put it all together and they constructed a narrative. Now, please don't get me wrong here. Not for a minute do I think that this group of people is smart enough to sit down around a table together and hatch out a damn plan. That is not what I mean. I mean, it was like Mutt and Jeff. It was like, oh, well, let me tell you what I heard. Well, look what I found. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, girl, that is some nasty business you found there. I wonder how we could use it. And on a live, on Brittany J's channel, with Kim and Crafton, they proceeded to tell their bullshit story, didn't you, Brittany? Now, I'm not going to play the clip. I am going to tell you that it was quite a long time before I heard it, right? People kept saying, she did this, she did this, she did this. And I kept saying, where's the proof? Where's the clip? We would see the clip. Where is it? And Brittany kept saying, I did not say that. Nobody said that. The judge probably said that. The clerk of court probably said that. In fact, my whole damn shitty town said it. But I didn't. Isn't that right, Brittany? How long? How long? I don't know how they kept it from circulating that long. I don't know. But one fateful day, out of the blue, man, I wasn't even looking for it. Just rolled up right there. There it was. And I clicked on it and I was nauseated. Because Brittany J, in fact, and I downloaded the clip. I've got it on my external hard drive, just like I still have the damn Nutgate videos. And you know what, Brittany? You can lie all you want to. You can say the bullshit you want to say. Blame the judge. You fool. You foolish little child. You blamed everybody, but the very foundation of what you were saying was flawed. Your attorney would have known North Carolina was not the proper jurisdiction for your claims. The attorney would have known that. Okay, that's not what this video is about, but man, you can lie, girl. It's shocking. And from the things that Greg says, it doesn't sound like he knows the truth either. And I do not think he is sophisticated enough to put that act on. So Brittany goes on this live, her live, her channel. And Kim and Crafton are on the panel. And they proceed to laugh. Now I'm going to get mad. See, that's what happens. You can tell when I get mad. They laughed about this little girl. And I listened to it. I listened to it multiple times. And I just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And I felt I was furious. It was the kind of anger where you just don't do anything, right? You just have to be quiet and sit in a chair and just not do anything. And later that day, my husband came in, and he knew I was sitting out on the back porch, real quiet and real still. And he knew. He was like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" He came out there and he said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm great." He's like, he sat in his chair. He said, "Well, what's going on?" And I said, "I'm so embarrassed and I am so humiliated and I am so stupid." And I told him, I told him what happened. And he was like, "Your friend, Brittany, that lady, your friend?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, that's me." And I played the video for him. And I told him, I said, "I was so wrong." And I thought about the orange and the grape, right? I thought about the orange and the grape, and I kept thinking, that is just crazy. It's so crazy to think about. Like, if you take all the noise away, right? That's the purpose. That's the point. You take all the noise away, all the voices, all the friendship, all the drama, all the history. You just wipe all that away, just clear it off the table, and you just play the clip of these three adults laughing about a little girl being brutalized and the fight of her mother in the courts. And they laughed. They made jokes about it. They said that the mother probably benefited financially. So there are people that can take an orange, and as you're looking at that orange, they'll tell you that it is purple, and it won't be long. You'll be calling it a grape. It's still just an orange. And how do they do that? Superficial charm and charisma. There's something about them, the way they look, their demeanor, their eyes. People talk about Chris Watts' eyes. He had kind eyes. Something about these people, maybe it's their accent. People are affected by them emotionally. They're touched. And they confuse that for honesty. Well, we know about people that are identified as psychopaths. They have a mean streak. They're unnecessarily cruel. Lots of gossip. They love gossip. They're entertained when someone is embarrassed or hurt. Cruelty is a hallmark sign. I don't know anything more cruel than a child who is brutalized by someone who is supposed to protect them. And then you laugh. Lies. Psychopaths are often pathological liars. Lies are a tool that are used to manipulate and control and influence others for their own benefit. They may be doing something as simple as trying to inflate their egos. They may have an agenda, and so they're simply distorting facts to fit their agenda. Or the lie itself may be the goal. If I can look really sad and cry and be upset, then my subscribers will give me lots of super chats. There's no guilt involved. You're not going to, if someone is a true psychopath, You're not going to be able to reflect their behavior back to them. And then they're suddenly going to go, oh my God, I didn't see that I was doing that. I'm so sorry. I feel so guilty. No, they're just going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed that you messed up the game. Tears and crying. I'm so sorry I did it. But you got to understand, I was the victim. So they may apologize, but it will always come back around to me, 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 me. Playing the blame game. Let's see. Who all did Barry Morphew blame for the disappearance of Suzanne? Everyone, actually. Everyone. And I am not making a joke. He blamed God. How does one person arrive at a courthouse late? Let me not just suppose. Let me give the actual facts. Court begins 9:30. You have not gone through the metal detector security at 9:28. Are you going to be in the courtroom when it begins? No, you're not. So you're late. It's not the fault of security that sent you to take the phone back to your car. The website itself says phones are not allowed in the courthouse. The only people allowed with phones is the district attorney and the defense attorneys. Don't bring a phone. And yet, we're told, I was told to bring my evidence on a burner phone. It's the judge's fault. The clerk of court told me to do it wrong. It was the fault of the security, the police that were there that told me to take my phone back to my car. It was the fault of the people that in the DV department that told me how to fill out my form. I mean, my attorney to fill out those forms, or someone told me to fill out the forms, but my attorney filled out the forms. And it's my attorney's fault because my attorney didn't realize that it was the wrong jurisdiction. Playing the blame game? Power, control, dominance. Hey, that lady over there, she's a doctor, ain't she? Yeah, we're going to get her job. We're going to take her job. In fact, we should pin that at the top and everybody can call her license into office. They need to call her license in office and take her license just like they did with Dr. John Matthias. These nuts got angry with Lauren, and so they called John Matthias's licensing officials. Nice people, right? Good people. These people you guys want to be friends with? Is that not demonstrating a sick, impotent need for power, control, and dominance? We're not even going to talk about the dark triad, okay? Because that is far too cool of a term for the bullshit coming out of that house. You think you just go there and you just get in front of your stupid little microphone and start threatening people? You think you send out ceases and desists and you tell those people, hey, I'm fixing to make your life miserable. I'm fixing to drag you through the courts. I'm fixing to force you to hire attorneys. But if you'll give me a couple $100, I won't. That's a crime. It's called extortion. And I hope they sue your ass into oblivion. You want to come from my job? You want to come and you want to get me fired? Is that, am I understanding that right, Greg? Too bad. Okay. Here's what I suggest for you. Call my boss. How's that? Call the president of my company. I'm sure that they'll arrange me getting fired. Sadistic enjoyment of pain and suffering. Anyone that enjoys pain and suffering is just off the rails, okay, for whatever reason. But I think the thing to focus on here is the court system sealing a court case because it involves criminal acts against a little child. And that this group of people laughed about this little child and what she experienced. And the reason? The joy of hurting Illuminati. That was the one and only reason to do what they did. There are no limits with these people. There's nothing too sacrilegious, too obscene. If it means that they get to hurt the YouTube creator they hate the most, they will use it. And this, I'm giving you an explanation for why I was nauseated, why I sat on my back porch for a couple of hours, just disgusted with myself for just blindly, just choosing to believe what turned out to be complete bullshit. I chose to believe it, and I should not have. Maybe it's boredom. Maybe attacking all these people, hurting all these creators, sending out untold number. You guys have no idea how many non-disclosure agreements, cease and desist. I mean, it's actually amazing that this person has a channel and they are busying themselves trying to shut up their friends or their former friends. I couldn't believe it when I really started looking into the truth of what was happening. I got news for you. You don't need a non-disclosure agreement if you're not hurting people. So, you can reach out to Better Health, and they, if there's someone that you need to talk to work through these problems, then they have the resources for you. All right. Oh yeah, Tiff. Yeah, that's right. Gonna get me fired. Me and Dr. John, right? We're gonna get fired because we have the audacity to just talk online like everybody else. But we're not supposed to talk online like everybody else. So if you go back to the title of this live, to those who sit in judgment, I'm actually talking about in judgment of me, because I'm getting all of these little messages, these little shitty little messages. Well, I used to have so much respect for you. Don't you think this is the kind of thing that you should have gone to her about in private? Oh, sure. I wouldn't argue with you on that, not one bit. You're assuming some things that I'm not going to comment on. But I have a question for you. If you're the writer of one of those stupid little virtue signaling posts, was it private when Brittany J and Kim and Crafton sat on a live panel in front of nearly 1,000 people at the time? Was it private when they laughed about a crime against a small child? Was that private? Now here's the part that is reflective of facts and truth, and the thing that makes the live where they laughed about a crime against a child. Here it is right here. That child that was the victim of a true criminal act loves her mother and is now in college. Wrap your head around that. Try to think back to the day when you were 18, 19, 20 years old. What if somebody had taken the worst thing that had ever happened to you and put it out there on a platform that is worldwide? How would you have felt? So, Brittany, you weren't talking about something that was 10 or 15 years old. You were gleeful and excited to hurt Illuminati. And if you had to sacrifice a young 18-year-old girl, you were willing to do that. You have lied to Greg. You have lied to all those subscribers. You lied to me. You lied to everyone. So don't come to my channel anymore and leave me your virtue signaling statements, okay? Don't come and say, oh, I would have thought with your education that you would have, spoken privately. Why? Why am I going to speak privately? Did she speak privately? Why do you want me to speak privately? I carry part of the shame because my acceptance of her, as everyone was saying that she had done this, my acceptance looked like an endorsement. Don't come with your virtue signaling and say, you should be better than this. Would you say that to me if I was, I don't know, a rancher in Nevada? Would you say that to me if I dug ditches for the state? Would you say that to me if I was an accountant? My silence was an unspoken endorsement of that bullshit. You have no idea. There are people on this platform that dislike me very much because I'm opinionated. And I'm okay with that. You think I didn't know? By speaking out, categorically not endorsing that behavior, telling my true experience of me being so horrified, you think that I didn't know that this was going to be, ha, 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 look at that. Sure, fine. I don't care. That is not what mattered. What mattered is that I've got an orange in my hand again, and it's an orange. I'm tempted to take those comments, those virtue signaling comments. I'm tempted to start highlighting them in my lives and showing who it is that's saying these things to me. So before you judge me, ask yourself, what would you have done with the same information? And, you know, I am mystified to sit and listen to her explanation about the court experience. The numbers of people that she blamed was staggering. Where do you go from here, Brittany? Like, in reality, where do you go from here? I know. Hold your breath. Just save your breath, Greg. I know you're going to come sue me. You're going to take everything I have. You're going to put me in the poorhouse. You're going to take my channel. You're going to take everything. You want to know how dumb you are, Greg? You just proved malice, okay? So that ship has sailed. But Brittany, really, really and truly, this isn't about real life stuff. You went real life, girl. You went as real life as you can possibly be. You capitalized off of crimes against children. There's no more real than that. You lost the RICO. You're going to be ordered to pay damages. But Greg sits there and says, oh, you lost one. You lost one lawsuit. You're going to lose another one. You're going to lose them all. Talking to everybody else. You lied to him, I think, my opinion. And you would have never got this much. I listen. I couldn't believe who in the hell asked their mods to sign non-disclosure agreements. Who does that? That is so bizarre. Because the way I see it, I'm just not going to text message things that I wouldn't text to the whole world. I'm not going to do things that I wouldn't come right here on my channel and tell you guys I'm doing. I'm not going to go into a Discord and say, hey, y'all, nobody say anything, but let me tell you what we're doing. I'm not going to do that because I'm not dishonest, Brittany. You know what? When people start sending out non-disclosure agreements, I got questions. I've got questions. I just wonder, you guys are going to take my job, right? You're going to call my boss and get me fired. Going to take me to court for something. I don't know what, something. The problem is you don't have my phone number and I don't have yours. I've never sent you a text message. We've never had, the last Discord that I was in was a Discord for a video game that I play on my Oculus. Those are my friends, gamers. I speak to Zelda on the phone. Nobody else. I spoke at one point, I was speaking to a business owner about doing some like shirts and stuff. That's it. No other contact. What you guys see, this is what you get. The idea of non-disclosure agreements for the mods in this channel is nuts. That is crazy to me. You know, here's a question that I have. Why is it that you don't have the self-control to keep your mouth under control, but you believe that you can legally control other people? If there's things you don't want people talking about you, why don't you just not tell them? This is kind of easy stuff here. Why are you saying things to people, your mods, or doing things with your mods that you feel like has to be kept secret lest it destroy your channel? Well, like, I can't even imagine that. My KK told me, I called my maternal grandfather, I called him KK. He told me one time, he said, never do anything in private that you wouldn't do up on the courthouse square. Because those people that you think are going to keep your secrets, they're not. And the best way to avoid humiliation and shame is to imagine, is what I'm about to do, is this something that I would be okay showing to the entire town that I live in, little tiny town? And that moment, that correction has served me well. And I would suggest, Brittany J., that you try to follow that. Because I think that the laughing about a little child's assault so you can win some YouTube flame more. I think you've probably done hella worse, my opinion. Snaky, in my opinion. She's gonna collaborate with criminality, really? Excuse me, criminality is an adult. That's all I'm going to say. And I would be willing to bet she's far more sophisticated than I apparently was. You want to know why this needed to be said publicly? Because I don't want there to be any mistake at all where I stand on this. You are, in my opinion, 100% wrong. You can't control your own mouth. You can't control what's happening in your own living room. I don't know why you think that you are going to control other people that live 5 states away. All you're going to do with your bullshit threats, Brittany, you're going to piss people off. And we see how well that worked out for you, right? You got a problem, girl. You've got a problem, but it is not YouTube creators. You've got a problem. It is not the subscribers that watch your channel. You will never clean this mess up until you can start being honest. In my opinion. And for anybody who is foolish enough to think that you're going to come for me because of my profession, you're going to look stupid. You're going to look stupid when you try to come and say, oh, she's a terrible psychologist. She is a bad psychologist. You think licensing boards are not dealing with your kind of people every single day? You guys tried to go after John Matthias, for God's sake. Please. What makes you so arrogant that you legitimately believe you know more about a psychologist or a code of ethics and practice than a man who's been practicing for 40 years? Why are you so arrogant? What's so great about you? What have you accomplished? What kind of professional guidelines do you have to operate under? Stop. You're just being mean and petty. You're being stupid. In my opinion, I am being very clear to all of this entire situation. I am being very clear. Stop virtue signaling. Stop coming and saying, oh, well, I think you would have known better. I did know better. I sure did. And as soon as I realized that I can't even call it a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. I did that whole thing where you say, well, I like her. She seems really sweet. There's a lot of people coming for her. And I haven't really seen anything that would make me think that she would act that way. So I'm just going to choose to believe her. That's what I did. It wasn't a mistake. I don't even get the luxury of saying, I made a mistake, y'all. Please forgive me. I made a mistake. No, I didn't make a mistake. I just was dumb. I don't even know there is no other. It was willful ignorance. It's just willful ignorance. And then it got into this point where, I was saying, stop doing the drama. Stop attacking these people. Stop talking about them. Stop poking. Everybody wants you to do the whole true crime content, right? Nothing. Crickets. And I started just watching, not talking in channel, not being a part of it, just watching. And people saying, can we talk about one of the cases? Let's talk about a case. Let's don't talk about drama. Don't give those people any more conversation. Don't talk. Everybody was saying, and you know what she was saying to her side chat? You know what she was saying? She was saying, well, if you want to go watch something else, you can leave because I'm going to talk about this tonight. Now, after she has sent legal documents to various YouTube creators, she has extorted them by saying, if you'll give me money, I won't go through with a lawsuit against you. That's a crime. Then she goes into the courtroom where she is made a laughingstock because she has no evidence of what she claimed. The things that she filed in legal documents simply did not exist. And she comes live and she blamed it was a judge. Get this, people. You've got to wrap your head around this. They were in the courthouse in her town where she lives. They were not at Cletus Incluminati's town. They weren't even in their state. This was her town. The people they know, the people that know their moms and dads, their home. That's where they were at. Now wrap your mind around her going live to thousands of people and saying, the judge did it. The judge is shady. The clerk of court told me private conversations. The people at the DV office told me how to fill out my forms. No. The lawyer failed me. She's talking about the people in her courthouse in her town. Imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, it was totally the judge, Sunset. The judge did it, just like I did it. Granny's watching did it. Yeah, totally. And then you know what she said last night? I couldn't believe it. I don't know why. She'll exploit it just like she exploits everything. You know what she said? Oh, we just got to cover this Lauren Matthias thing. We just got to cover that because it's exactly what I'm going through. Lauren, Dr. John, please, for God's sake, listen to me. Please. You do not want to align yourself with this girl. Please. Please take time to see what's out there. This is not what you want to do. What she has experienced has zero parallel to what Lauren described the other night on her 9-hour live, which I was there for every minute of it. But she's going to do it on her channel, and all those people are going to be in there and listen, and they're all going to be giving her money, and they're all going to be tore up and hurt because Brittany's sad again. In my opinion, this is there's a lot of people that are being hurt, you know. So this was for the 5 people just last night. There have been others in the previous days, but the 5 people that I did you the courtesy of deleting your comment so people would know who was saying it. The 5 people that said, you should know better, Jules. I am shocked. I'm calling your licensing board. That's what this is for. Okay. And I'm really thinking in the future, I'm not going to delete you anymore. I think in the future, I'm just going to leave those comments up and let everybody see that you are absolutely not paying attention. You're caught up in all of her tears and crying and manipulation, and you're completely overlooking the truth, the facts. The facts. She exploited a little child whose court case is sealed. They brought it out to the public and they used it because they wanted to hurt Illuminati. Think about that. That's all that matters. All right, I'm done. I'm so done. Harley Ryder, how are you today? Listening while I drink my coffee. Good mornings. I agree with you. Thank you, Harley. Appreciate it. Ginger Snap, how are you doing? Gosh, my husband loves ginger snaps. Loves. Butterflies are free to fly away. Too early to sing. Let's see. In my opinion, she wanted to pay off her other case. We all know no one wins in a lawsuit. I mean, yeah. So you know, I'm humiliated because of my willful ignorance. That is nothing. That is absolutely nothing when you consider the amount of money that Granny's Watching has had to pay to defend herself. and for Cletus and Cluminati because they had to defend themselves. You understand that, right, Brittany? You and Greg, y'all are the aggressors. You understand that, right? You go real life, Brittany. You do. I'm going to get her job. I'm going to get her fired. I'm going to get her fired. I'm going to get Dr. John's license. You people are just gross. You're just gross people. I can't even imagine walking up to somebody and saying, I'm going to get you fired. I don't like what you were saying about me, and I'm going to call and I'm going to get you fired from your accounting job. I'm going to get you fired. You're a terrible accountant. You're an awful accountant. I'm going to get you fired. Man, you guys don't even know how silly you sound. Stop trying to get people fired. Stop trying to hurt people through shame and embarrassment. Look, there's one person that rightly has been unveiled, and that's you, Brittany. Every step of the way, you are your own worst enemy, in my opinion. Every step of the way, it's like you sit there and you decide, well, I could do A or I could do B. Let's do the wrong one every time. You literally thought that people were going to listen to you say, it's the judge's fault. And everybody would shake their head and simply go, yeah, that damn judge. Man, these judges are out of control. Poor Brittany. Poor Brittany. Let me give her another $10. The gig is up, girl. You are the aggressor. You are the one coming for other people, real life. You are the one that tosses. You say the most horrible things about other people, and then you act all shocked and hurt and dismayed when they respond. Tell you something. If my baby girl had been harmed and somebody decided that it was their job to take a court case that was sealed and make it public information to go after me, tell you what, bitch, you'd have had a much worse problem than Cletus and Cluminati, and that's a promise. Heard somebody say one time that men are far more capable of murder than a woman. And I said, that is categorically false. And they said, no, it's true. You know, women are very kind and empathetic. Physically, that most of them are not as strong as the majority of men. You know, men definitely more likely to, get mad and accidentally kill someone, right? And I said, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And if you try and legit hurt my children, you are going to have a bigger problem than I do. So the fact that you said the most egregious, horrible thing about a little girl and her mama and dad got mad at you and raked you over the coals, rightly so, I don't have a problem with it. You need to shut up and take it. You need to sit down, close your mouth, and let them say whatever they wish to say about you, because you cast the first stone. And it was a stone toward their baby. You need to stop. You need to stop threatening everyone. You need to stop talking crap on people. You need to stop with your lies. You need to stop with your silly court orders. You need to stop. You need to stop. You're destroying any chance you have of making a living on this platform. Nobody wants to go through what Granny's watching, barbecue, Cletus and Cluminati. Nobody wants to go through that, and you are the source of all of it. Shut up. Yeah, I do think butterflies is right. You know, I did have that thought when I heard all this going on. I was like, why are they doing this? And then I wondered, is it to get money together? Are they trying to pool money together to try to pay off a sanction that's supposed to be paid to Granny's Watching and Barbecue Lady? Maybe. I mean, I don't have the ability to read minds. I don't know, but the fact that at least two of us wondered about that, maybe. Trader Joe's has the best ginger snap cookies. They have little chunks of ginger in them. So delicious. They sell them in a round tub. Thank you, Harley, for telling me. Don't tell Piddlin' Bill, but that's probably going to be one of his Christmas presents. I'm going to definitely go to Trader Joe's and see if I can get the ginger snap cookies. That man loves ginger snaps. And he doesn't like sweet stuff, right? He likes beef, cows. That's what he eats. Or, well, no, he likes pigs too. He likes sausage and bacon and stuff. But man, he loves ginger snaps. It's weird how much he loves them. I've supported her for a long time. I've really begun to see some things in the past couple of weeks. Yeah, well, I'm in the same boat as you, Ginger Snap. Yeah, my come to Jesus moment was listening to the live where she laughed about this little kid, and she said that, you know, Cluminati made money off of the harm that came to her child. And I knew then that I was completely 100% in the wrong, 100% in the wrong. Listening to how she described what unfolded during court, she blamed the judge, blamed the clerk of courts, all of that. I'm just done. I'm just over it now. All I see and hear now is manipulation. I don't even know what I was listening to before. Like I said, willful ignorance on my part. And I am going to do everything I can to never let that happen again. The money went to buy Greg the ring, those glasses, all the other gadgets and remodeling they're doing. I wondered, right? Like, did we hear a single word, KT, about the stone wall until after that $8,000? Right? Makes you wonder. I also did some investigating and reading about like YouTube creators committing fraud, using their channels for scams where they would take money and say it was for one thing, but then they spin it on something else. There's actually people that have in fact gone to jail for that. There was a YouTube creator, her channel was like over 100,000 subs. Kayla Massey or Kayla Massa. Kayla Massa, she was arrested in 2020. Listen to this, it's so crazy. A $1.5 million fraud scheme. So she targeted her followers. A lot of them were underage because there was gaming and stuff like that. She promised them that if they would send her money, she would send them back a check that was twice as big as what they sent to her. Yeah. That's one of your friends there, Brittany. I think you and Kayla, y'all could be best buddies. Y'all could ride off in the sunset together. There's another guy, Omi in a Hellcat. He was arrested in 2021. He did a $30 million fraud scheme. Basically, he was streaming copyrighted content. Like, you know, just going to court TV and taking a whole show and playing it on your channel while you snore into the microphone like that. There was a guy named Nutty, a Thai YouTuber. He got arrested last year. He ran 2 years of a scheme against the Forex investment. There were 6,000 investors that he stole $59 million. South Korean YouTuber had nearly 1 million subscribers, was arrested last year. Cryptocurrency. He defrauded 15,000 victims. He was artificially manipulating coin prices and then talking people into buying his manipulated coins, right? So, yeah, Griffney, people are getting arrested and going for jail for exactly what you said. I need $10,000 from my attorney to defend myself against Granny's watching. I need help. Please help me. And then fast forward 24 hours. Oh, well, I have a Samsung wrist. What kind of wrist do you have? Mine is a Samsung wrist, and I got a bright, shiny, sparkly new ring. And we're going to put us up a rock wall, a rock wall in our YouTube studio. But we paid for our attorney. We sure did. Shut up, Craig. Shut up. Stupid. If grifting money is presented as charity, I need an attorney. I can't afford it. I need your good charity. Please help me pay for my attorney. Please, please, please. Look at my new Samsung watch. Look at my sparkling, brilliant new ring. Look at our beautiful rock wall. All from charity. These are serious legal allegations that can result in fraud cases that will end up awarding 6-figure payouts. You're in trouble. You are in deep. And your extortion schemes, I don't think are going to help you. Jobst was another big one. J-O-B. You know what that is, Greg? J-O-B. Get a J-O-B, buddy. Get yourself a J-O-B. And I'll make you a promise. Once you have a J-O-B, I will be the first to go public and threaten to get your ass fired. That'd be fun, won't it, Craig? That'd be so much fun. Threaten people's jobs. That's a hoot. Carl Jobst versus Billy Mitchell. Speedrunning YouTuber Carl Jobst raised funds through a GoFundMe campaign for his what? You don't say. Legal defense. In fact, it was a legal defense against defamation lawsuits. Imagine that. The campaign emphasized Jobst's reporting on video game cheaters, but omitted key details about the suit's basis. Mitchell implied that there was a suicide that was Jobst's responsibility. Jobst fought the case and he lost in 2025. It resulted in being ordered to pay hundreds of thousands in damages and costs. Hey, Greg, are you listening? You need to turn that moaning video off for just a minute and listen. Pay close attention, Greg. Keep the moans down to a low roar, okay? We don't want the kiddos to hear your special kind of entertainment. Jobst fought the lawsuit of defamation, but he lost. And he had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to the defender. You know, like Illuminati and Cletus, like Granny's watching. The defenders. Accusations of fraud arose from donors feeling misled. Many believed the funds were for defending cheating allegations And the critics called it, same thing I said, lies of omission. You listening, Greg? Lies of omission. The critics said you committed lies of omission to boost donations and views. Is anybody seeing a pattern here, or am I the only one? There were serious questions about whether the funds that were improperly raised and kept were used for the stated claims. You guys are in deep, man. Deep. Then there was a Full Metal Alchemist. Is that Italy? I think it was Italy. The campaign. This was a sexual harassment allegation. I don't think that one is. Okay. Political commentator Carl Benjamin raised donations via GoFundMe for defense against a copyright infringement lawsuit filed by a YouTuber over his use of her footage in a commentary video. That's kind of weird. Some online critics accused him of keeping the donated funds, viewing it as an unnecessary retention of money not spent for the stated purposes. That case is still ongoing. So yeah, this little 5 and dime campaign of $10,000, it's definitely not, an action of a mental giant, right? There's plenty of these examples out there in the world. And the big takeaway is if you raise a lot of money saying that it's for something related to charity, like somebody's suing me and I need to defend myself, and then you don't use that money for what you stated when you raised the donations, you can be taken to court. And if you are, you will lose just based on precedent alone. You can't say to people, I'm in trouble, I'm hurting, I need help, because that plays on people's emotions and then they're more likely to give. And then you just laugh all the way to the bank. You think that's how it works? No, the law protects those kind-hearted people. And every now and then you run across the wrong person. You play with the wrong person who has enough money to drag you through the court system, making someone acknowledge that you committed fraud. And that's when the fun really gets started, Greg, because then you get ordered to pay damages. Oh, yeah. Diane Elmore Downs, slot machine queen. Did y'all remember that one? That was. So Amy Diane Elmore Downs, her name was Slot 7.0, or they called her the slot machine queen. She's a 57-year-old from Athens, Alabama, and she built a TikTok empire around high-stakes gambling and lifestyle vibing. She allegedly scammed her fans out of $1 million through a fake charity. She was super in her videos were really, really energetic. She talked about slot machines, casino adventures. And so she ended up with a massive fan base because, old retired people love the slot game, right? She had this huge fan base and they loved her charismatic personality. And so she had a really, really healthy following. Well, She claimed a lot of what she would do was present herself as, look, I'm a good time, I'm fun, I love what you love, and I help domestic violence victims. But I only help those domestic violence victims that are in immediate danger or homeless. You see, the people I help, this is Amy talking, the people I help are the people that are in imminent danger. And I have to have cash fast to help those people. She even got nominated for an award for influencers who use their platforms for positive change. But behind the scenes, it was a whole different party going on. Amy was actually doing her charity appeals, like asking for help to help these other people. That became her content. Kind of like saying, I'm being bullied. That's your content. And you say, I'm being bullied. I need your money. That's the grift. Like, oh, Amy here. She would urge her followers to donate to what she claimed was a cause supporting domestic violence survivors as well as homeless people. Both highly emotional topics, right? You think that was by mistake? No. You see, these grifters, they learn very quickly. You've got to have high emotion to separate people from their hard-earned money. She used PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo accounts to get their money. There was no official charity. There was never authentic receipts or verifiable receipts. It was simply an exchange. You trust in me, and I'll take good care of your money. And that was the extent of the grift. Over 3 years, Slot Amy raked in $1 million from donors. Investigators later found out that there was no charity at all. Amy had not reported any employment since the beginning of the grift, 2020. All that money was deposited, get this, people, you're not going to believe it, directly into Amy's personal bank accounts. She used it. She used the money to buy food, to go on vacation, to buy new computers, to buy stone walls for new YouTube studios. The scam began unraveling after only 3 years. It started in late September last year when a TikTok account called Trey Street posted a recording from Pastor Petty Clay's live stream. In it, multiple people came forward sharing how they had been duped by Amy's pleas. By October, the Limestone County Sheriff's Office in Alabama launched a full investigation after receiving fraud reports. They uncovered the lack of a real charity. They found the personal deposits quickly, and it was very easy to uncover the web of deception because Amy, as you can imagine, had amassed a large number of haters online. The probe showed Amy had been living off of the donations and never delivered on her promise. There was not one homeless person helped. There was not one single domestic violence victim that was ever offered help. Last year, December 11th, it all came crashing down. Listen up, Greg. This is the fun part. Amy was arrested on 7 counts of first-degree charitable fraud and 3 counts of tax evasion. Her bond? Why, it was just a measly little $1.125 million. That's a lot of zeros, Greg. But you got a lot of money, right? You got that. No problem, right? The sheriff's office called it one of the biggest charity scams they had seen, and they urged more victims to come forward. Amy's social media accounts were taken down, leaving her fans stunned. You mean it's true? You mean all the rumors of the lies and the grifting? You mean it's all true? I was scammed? Yes, you were all scammed. Fast forward to 2025. The case has dragged on with several court appearances. Amy showed up in court on April the 30th of this year for an initial hearing. A July hearing was scheduled, but it got continued. Why? Why? Amy didn't show up. All right. This story is a stark reminder in the age of influencers and the grifters. Always verify charities before donating. If someone is using highly emotional claims to put your money into their personal bank accounts, avoid at all costs. If it's a legitimate charity, check for official registrations, look for transparency, and if something feels off, keep your money in your pocket and report it. Even when someone shows you receipts online, in this day and age, receipts are easily fraudulently false. All right. From slot wins to scam sends, destroying trust along the way. Amy Downs went down. And if you are a grifter, if you are stealing your subscribers' money, you too may follow in the dark and sinister path of Amy, slot machine queen. All right, time for applause. Yay. And that's our show. Okay, everybody, I'm done. The money went to buy Greg that ring, those glasses, and all the pretty gadgets and that nice stone wall. Darvo! Thank you, Kelly. 100% they soothed my upset tummy so fast. I love ginger snap cookies. Oh, man, my husband loves them. Just loves them. Let's see. They're so delicious, and the ginger would help your stomach. Greg keeps mentioning a lawsuit. I feel like something is looming in the background. 2 nights ago, she said, I can't wait till these people can't talk about me anymore. Now, okay, so yeah, I get that. I get that. But here's the problem, right? If you're an adult, right? If you can think clearly, then you have recognition. If you attack a person, they're going to fight back. You guys said you were going to get me fired. Your chat said, pin it up there. We'll get her fired. Okay, y'all that was an attack on me, right? So now I'm answering it. That's just how Granny was attacked. So now she's answering. You caused her to lose thousands, tens of thousands of dollars as a defender. You're going to have to pay for that. And I got a feeling that old Greg and Brittany may be sitting over there feeling all full of something besides gas. But I think before it's all said and done, I think they are going to be blown away in shock at what is about to come down on their heads. I think the secret is not what's looming over there in North Carolina. I think there's something bigger and badder and worser not coming from North Carolina. Used to get those big tins at the World Market. I love the World Market. Thin, crispy ginger snaps. Let's see. You like my fairy pumpkin? Thank you, Christo. I think it's beautiful. I love like the blue glow. Really pretty. What does your real job have to do with YouTube? I don't know. I just don't know butterflies are free. I have no idea why my job got brought into this. None whatsoever. Weird. Her subs are slowly leaving, and there's tension among the chatters. Really, I don't go in there. I don't. I'm so disgusted, and really, I have that bad feeling in my stomach when I when I let myself remember that, I believed her, and I'm surely ashamed of that. I'm really, it's one of those memories. Like when I remember it, I'm just like, God dang, ugh, how could I be so stupid? Like really, it's bad. Mess with the mama bear. That's it, Kelly. Don't be surprised, right? Absolutely. Last night he said something about defamation cases. Defamation? Really? They went after a little girl. How do they believe they're going to defend against that? How many more years is this going to be going on? This is disgusting. It makes me nauseous. Same, Kelly. The reason, Kelly, that this was talked about today is because I keep getting a little smattering of people that are leaving comments, and they're saying things like, oh, how dare you speak out publicly against Britney, right? It's like the virtue signaling kind of stuff. And I've just been deleting them. And I made the decision, I'm not going to delete them anymore. I'm going to leave them up. I want everyone to see who's saying this and how their mind works. And the reason that I have to speak out is because I endorsed her. And I was an idiot. And when I finally heard the recording, when I finally knew absolute fact, I was 100% in the wrong. 100% in the wrong. Trader Joe's also has good candied ginger cheese. You guys are obsessed with Trader Joe's. People have no idea the trauma that causes children. Lots and lots of therapy is needed, right, Kelly O? And people that work with those kids. Those kids have a lot of protectors. You know what I mean? You've never seen bravery and resilience and fierce determination. Anybody who goes after a kid for YouTube fun, it's my opinion that you are lacking a piece of humanity deep down in your soul. BJ needed small group of subs. Why? I wonder if her and some of her mods want to set up something bigger. One of them once posted in chat they didn't care if people left. Well, but I mean, I'm going to think on what you said and how that might benefit her. But isn't it true? Like, don't you see all the time, like in these old movies and stuff, like Robert Redford, that movie, The Sting. You see all the time in these movies and stuff that people will set up like a grift where they're like playing a role and they're taking people for money and whatnot. But then when they get caught or when they're about to be caught, then they pack it all up and they jump in the car and they drive to the next town where they set up shop again, right? Maybe it's kind of like that, sunset gazing. Maybe that's what they're talking about. We don't care if we lose all of our old subs, all the people that gave us all that money before. It's okay if they go ahead and go away. We'll start over with a whole new group of subscribers. Could that be what they were referring to? Like that kind of idea? Yeah, I don't know, Sunset. That's a weird comment to make. What channel only wants a select small group of subs? I just don't know. I mean, look, I know that people say YouTube doesn't pay anything. You only make money through super chats, right? I mean, I hear that. That is not true. I don't get very many super chats at all. And I always make money on my channel. And it is primarily just the AdSense, the ad stuff, right? It's not, of course, it's not as much. I mean, if somebody comes in and drops $100, that's a lot of money, but I don't know how you could make it beneficial to have a select small group of subscribers. I'm gonna have to give that some thought, Sunset Gazing. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad you brought that up. I'm gonna have to give that we're gonna have to do what speculation. Yeah, it is odd. I don't know. Sunset for a small, inexhaustible bank pool. So they just have a small group of, I guess, well-to-do subscribers, and they're just constantly like paying like $100 a month, maybe. If you had like 20 of those people, that could get you, She's making a hell of a lot more than $2,000 a month, though. She's making like $10,000 a month. She's not now, but she was, I think. I don't know why Craig doesn't work. I think maybe he's talked about being in the military. Maybe he has retirement. I just don't know. Is he disabled? Ginger Snap, are you trying to get me in trouble? I have no idea if he's disabled. It happened with the People's Temple tragedy. He had a core around him. Yeah, so they would go out into the community and collect handouts and then bring it all back to the guy, didn't they? Yeah, mama bears make mistakes too, which is why they say don't mess with a mama bear, because she might make a mistake all over your head, right? Manipulate, lie, and fraud through charity. Deranged bunny. Oh my God. What happened? Was that just, I couldn't even believe that it was even able to happen. I'm talking about Milky's, the cam slip. You know how I always say, that domestic violence, it usually happens in a situation where two people have stayed together too long. Like they've known that the marriage was over and they just couldn't leave. And that's usually when a disaster happens. I have felt that about what's going on in Syria. I have felt like that girl needs to get on an airplane and get away from there because it is simmering. But the cam slip was crazy. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that happened. To perpetuate the fraud as new people. Why she doesn't want others to talk about her because that exposes the truth. Well, you know what, Sunset? I just found out about all of the NDAs. Like I found out like 2 or 3 nights ago. So I mean, she apparently has been pretty successful making people stop talking. No, I don't think so, Harley. No, it was the judge. Don't you understand that, Harley Ryder? The judge is the problem. Damn judge. People ask, why don't I do a GoFundMe? Yeah, I pay my own way, right? Yeah, but she's already grifting for a new computer. She sees Christmas is right around the corner, baby. And no way to verify the authenticity of the information of those who are receiving the donations. Nope, no way. She didn't want to do a fundraiser through YouTube. Said she'd look for something local to raise funds for. When did she say that, Sunset? You know what it seems? It feels like I had this thought. Is she just trying to get money together because she knows she's going to have to pay Granny's watching? That is crazy. Gluten-free pizza. Aldi has it. Right? Didn't show up to court. How familiar is that, Critical K? I couldn't believe Kay said, I can't come to court, Judge. I'm in Hawaii. I was like, oh my gosh, don't say that. Yeah, but we don't want you to get arrested, Zelda. You can't do scamming for your broken neck therapy, okay? They do not have broken neck therapy in prison. If I ever thought to be a YouTube creator after watching Brittany J and all this crap, it would be a hard pass, right? It's misery. That's why I go missing for large chunks of time. I just get so sick of it. C Bon is in real time. Thank you, C Bon. Are you near to me? I think you might be near to me. They're having a big fishing tournament today for the kids over on Bolivar. Gifting. That's right, wishful thinking, FAFO. It was gifting. It wasn't grifting. It was gifting. She worked hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. So you better treat her right. I don't think so, Harley. No, I don't think so. I think he has no idea about the truth either. If BJ will have to be in court in Pennsylvania, I'm seriously thinking, I want to be there. Be there, be square. Do it, Sunset. Do it. Do it. It would be so fun. Do you think that if some people lie so much that they believe their own lies, pathological lying? I work too hard for my money. Everyone else does too. Greg needs to get a job, get a job and earn his way. I'm honestly, he may be on disability. He may be on, he may have retirement from the military. Like, I have no idea. I have zero special knowledge about them or their circumstances. We have a Moravian settlement nearby, and they make such good ginger snaps. They're very thin and crispy. Wow. I'm jealous. Jealous. I watch the other channels. Good thing about that, you can rewind and see chat comments that have been deleted. Many of us believed her, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That is no truer word spoken, Sunset. That has been my personal experience. The lies we feed ourselves are the biggest deceptions, right? Got to recognize it first before you can fix it. Snake oil salesman in a big wagon with wonky wheels. A small group to set up some sort of a grift. I had no idea. Sounds way too complicated to me. I don't know why you don't just go get a job. That's a lot easier and legal. And there's no victims. New money with new subs. That's the name of the game. Depends on how you define small. Excellent point, Christo. This last time she came on live during the day was nodding off so much is what did it for me. After I had made comments before defending her drug test, I felt embarrassed. Do not be embarrassed, Ginger Snap. There's a lot of us. A lot of us. And, you know, the reality is with that thing you're describing where she goes live, and it's not late at night. It's the middle of the day, and she's knocking her head into the microphone, right? It's terrifying. It's scary for the subs to sit and watch that. And the thing that I can't understand about it, she says, oh, I'm just sleepy. Okay, well, wouldn't you think if you were doing it night after night after night and your subscribers are really concerned about you, don't you think you would get your act together? Wouldn't you figure out a way to be able to go live when you're well rested? And are you driving a car while you're in that condition? I mean, it definitely is. There's something uncomfortable. And I'm not, all I can say is what I'm seeing. And it feels really uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, I'm saying, Ginger. Super chats can be refunded to the ones who donate. And I wonder how many of those super chats are actually paid and how many are refunded. I mean, they must be being paid. They're living pretty good, right? They're remodeling, putting up stone walls. Disabled question was probably over. No, you're not overstepping. We're just talking, just having a conversation. I used to go on BJ, and maybe I went on maybe 6 times. Last time I went on, she gave me a membership. It was weird, so I unsubscribed. Your environmental awareness is high. Butterflies are free. I suspect you are going to be free to fly for the rest of your life. No one is going to put handcuffs on those wrists. You are smart. Seclusion Work says, hey, that's butterflies. Hi. I'm going to sell the purple crazy bus, but we're okay for now. I wish I could buy it. I sure do. It's, man, everything's so expensive right now. She said local charity. Oh my God, that's terrifying. Somebody should get in touch with law enforcement in that town and just kind of give them a heads up about it. She's going to start a charity? Is that what she was saying? Christo is going to go buy some Ginger Snap cookies, dip them in tea. Wow, that is fancy, Christo. Fancy, fancy. Yeah, true, Gina. Yep. It's shocking, isn't it? I mean, I'm shocked. I just couldn't believe the judge did it. The clerk of courts did it. The law enforcement officer that made me go back to my car, they did it. My whole stinking town did it. I couldn't believe it, Gina. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I just don't know, seclusion. I have no idea. There's no way she was just looking down at her phone. It showed me she does not respect her subs for trying to blow it off like that. So you think she intentionally did not go to the hearing because she knew that she didn't have any, like, there was not anything legitimate to her claims? Is that what you're saying? Maybe I misunderstood you. It is insulting, Gina Marie. Yeah, absolutely. Boy, he was on a roll last night, Ginger. Man, it was terrible. I did too. I hope they do, Ginger Snap. Pumpkins, $5 here. Just got into Safeway. Nice. We're doing a party, and it's all going to be like pink and gold and ivory pumpkins. Like that's like a, elegant pumpkin patch. Isn't that awesome? It's going to be so cute. Cute. So I'm going to be up to my elbows in paint this evening. Maybe I'll go live and y'all can talk to me while I paint. Y'all want to go live while I paint pumpkins? Oh, under one circumstance, okay? I am not talking about that problem over there. I need a break from it. Peanut butter cookies. Yum. You have some excellent taste, Ginger Snap. My husband's been going through our finances, discovered the amount of money paid to YouTube creators. $600 a month was being paid by PayPal. Wowzer. Girlfriend, I hope your husband shut that down. I hope he said, I hope he went, no more. Yikes, girl. Y'all need that money for your therapy. Man. You know what? One of my friends, I think it was like her maybe it was her aunt. Her aunt looked at the bank account, and there was like $3,000 missing, like that she expected to be there and it wasn't. And she was like, oh my God, like somebody stole, right? Somebody stole from me. They ended up getting an accountant, going through everything. You know what it was? Their child was buying games on their phone. Just like that, Zelda. Once he learned how to purchase the additional game stuff, he went crazy. Yep. I usually go about every 3 or 4 months. I'll go through my PayPal where I've authorized recurring payments and just kill a lot of what I've put there that's not stuff that I like need. I don't even have a bank account attached to my YouTube. Can't receive gifts or anything monetary. My attention is enough. KJ, you are wise and you are beautiful. That's a very smart thing. Yeah. And make no mistake about it, y'all. I'm getting paid when you watch the stream. AdSense is paying me. Just because there's someone and you're like, oh, that was such a great live, I want to give them $20. I mean, it's wonderful and it's fun. And I love it when somebody is able to give me some. That's fine. But don't feel like that you're not contributing if you don't do super chats. You are contributing. The AdSense does pay. It does. You're just not making $10,000 a month off of AdSense, right? It does pay. I make enough with my YouTube channel that it's primarily the AdSense, and then I have some memberships. But I make enough, and I pay I pay for my Canva. I pay for my Camtasia software. Like it kind of pays to keep me going, right? I don't have extra money left over for other things, but it gives me all my computer stuff that I need. So it works. Did you get in trouble, Zelda? Oh, come on, Larry. Be nice to Zelda. I don't think it was a bad one. Larry's a nice guy. I'm more than happy to watch. Let an ad play for you. Thank you, KJ. I don't watch them, but I would let them play to help out. I hope you get a little fun money. I do. I actually love Camtasia. I love my editing software. So it is like fun because like the Camtasia is like $300 a year. And then I buy a little $150 add-on for some of the artwork. And I would never pay that if it was just like out of my normal budget. I would never do that. That is definitely YouTube money that pays for that. And it's a great program and it does a lot of cool things, but I don't need it for my work, right? It's just a fun thing. So doing my YouTube videos, KJ watching my ads, that helps me to kind of indulge in the Camtasia. Camtasia is definitely indulgent because you can get a lot of other editing softwares that are much less expensive, but they're not as good. So, I mean, they're great, but Camtasia is fun. So I like it. Oh, Christo, thank you. I need to try that. I use Adobe and I'm having issues. Adobe can be tough, but I'm telling you, Deranged Bunny, I love Camtasia. It started out, I can tell you this. It started out, my husband gave me Camtasia as a birthday present. Because I was just like, oh, I want to make some videos and edit them, but I don't know how to do it. And this is a good program. And he was like, okay, well, I'll buy it as a birthday present. It's for a year. That $300 is for a year. And then when I started doing it, then I was like, this is great. And so then the next year it was a Christmas gift. And then after that, I just put it out of my YouTube money to keep it going. So you should try it, Deranged Bunny. It's a good one. And let me tell you this too, if you're legit going to try it. So when you do Camtasia, hold on, let me find it. Hold on, I'll give you the information you need. Okay, you're going to need to go to a website. Hold on, I'll get it pulled up for you. I'll share the link with you. How's that? Because if I could have another friend who uses it, oh my God, we could have so much fun. It's such a great program. All right. So let me give you the link. Okay, Bunny, here's the link to it. You go through this company called TechSmith, and they have like 6 different packages, like programs. The Camtasia is for the video editing. And the other one that I use from Technique, let me get back to it. What do I do with it? Damn it. Okay. So you will get your Camtasia and download that. And then you're going to want to go to another program that's called TechSmith Assets for Camtasia. And that's like the $140 add-on. And it has like dynamic backgrounds, graphics, asset packs, all kinds of extra stuff. And they've now added an AI generator, which is so fun. And it was actually the AI generator that I used to make my thumbnail, the desktop that I'm using today. I said, I need a pumpkin with magical fairies around it in the dark. And that's what he gave me. Cute, huh? Yep. Yepper. Let me see what else I've made with it. I did this one. That's my Rainbow Horizons. This one was done with the AI generator. This one. Oh, ooh. My little American kitty cat. Let's see. That's all I've got. Is that all I got on this one? Yep. What is this? Yeah, I think that's all that were AI generated. Yep. All right. Okay, people. Thank y'all for being here. I doubt I could figure it out right now. Those muscle relaxers are pretty brutal to your thoughts. Love a neon sign on an old street, photo or pub sign. Yep, me too. Me too. It's one of the reasons I like Old England. I thought I had. Oh, I had another jazz music. I don't know where it is. Maybe I deleted it. Excuse me. Let's see. That one. That one's long. I'm not sure what that is. Very long. Too long. Stop. I don't know why it's taking so long to download. Yeah, sorry, y'all. I was just looking for. Oh. Thought I had another one here with the jazz, but do not. Weird. I must deleted it. Just don't remember. You know what I mean? But anyway, I play on my Camtasia all the time. I love it. I hope you like it too. All right, folks. I guess we better get out of here, right? I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I may or may not go live tonight. Depends on if anything's going on, who I'm listening to. And I do have to do some painting. So, all right. Thanks for listening to me. See you later. Y'all have a great day.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze, watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain, diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compared to the peace we found in the ties we ride and the love all around. No rainbow horizons after the rain, diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons forever free. Yeah. Your rainbow horizons calling to me.
In the quiet of our home, under stars so bright and true, John Bolton was a hero, the one the world knew. Beloved by the crowds, trusted like the morning sun, you held America in your hands, and with your betrayal you set her undone. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betrayed the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left and right. Power called your name and you answered with a smile. Climbed the highest peaks, left innocence behind with guile. Corruption whispered soft, like poison in your veins. You turned from light to dark, like the honesty that you feigned. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betrayed the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left. like secrets in the wind. Our brothers fell in fields afar because of John Bolton's sins. Lies wove through the night, helped thieves to claim her crown. Election stolen in plain sight that brought our nation down. The jury spoke your fate in a courtroom cold and still. Guilty echoes through the halls. You bent to treason's will. Ordered to the gallows high, rope around your neck so tight. She stands here betrayed, saying goodbye to the monster that Bush made. But John, oh John, what have you done? Betray the nation that beat as one. From glory's throne to shadows deep, you lost your way and now she weeps. A noose awaits in the cold dawn's light for the man who betrayed us all left and right. In memories a nation as innocent as a lamb. Betrayal and sinister greed turned into the valley of the damned. But John,